An inside of Cameroon National Museum. Hello, on behalf of ARMTV, I would like to welcome you to another informative content on the Discovery Cameroon series. Discovery Cameroon is a weekly series where you get informed, educated, and entertained with amazing contents from across Cameroon. In today's video, we will be taking you to discover Cameroon's National Museum and the treasures you will find in it. If you're new here, welcome. Please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you do not miss any of our newly released videos. And if you're a returning subscriber, we love you. Our content of today is a shout out to Mabel Michelle who suggested this content. Let us know in the comment section your topic of interest you would like us to cover and we will make that happen. The National Museum of Cameroon is situated in the political capital of the country, Yaounde, at Quartier du Lac. Constructed in the 1930s, it was home for the president at the time, Ahmadou Ahidjo, and is the center of all museums around the national territory, very accessible for everyone, pedestrians, cars, and even wheelchairs. It is a cool place to spend some quality time with friends and family. On a surface area of 5,000 meters squared is embodied Cameroon historically, that is, architecturally, politically, artistically, and ethnographically. By touring the museum, you get a clear picture of Cameroon and how it is evolving. It is known by all that Cameroon is Africa in miniature. Therefore, visiting this significant building allows you to experience the entire continent in a single place. It contains artifacts and objects of the past and present day from all 10 regions of the country, as well as objects and paintings from ancient Egypt, which each on their own tells a story. Recently, it received new and enriching art paintings and sculptures exposed abroad. Let's have a tour of the National Museum. The room titled Society and Powers mainly represents the political aspect of the country in two different yet symbiotic powers, the modern and the traditional powers. The modern powers are the presidency, prime ministry. There are three segments of power when it comes to government in Cameroon: the legislative, judiciary, operating in the National Assembly, and the executive, which operates in the Supreme Court. The structures of these modern powers are all in this room in the form of photos. To show that both the modern and traditional powers are complementary, the importance and symbols of traditional powers are as well in this room. Some objects we can find here is a royal seat covered with cowries from the grass fields. It is to be noted that cowries used to be really valuable back then and were used as a means of exchange for goods and services. A picture of the Bafut Palace, which was constructed by the Germans, a picture of the Mancon Palace, royal mask from the Northwest region mostly used during cultural festivals, a photo of Ibrahim Bombo Njoya, the now late king of Bamum people, who was once a senator and played a significant role in Cameroonian politics, are all embodied in this room. This tells us of the synergy between traditional and modern powers. A statue of him can be seen too, decorated with a military uniform offered to him by the Germans, to whom he had always been loyal to and never rebelled against. He is the inventor of the Bamum writing, the brain behind the architectural plan and execution of the construction of the Foumban Palace, as well as the recently constructed Bamum Museum in Foumban. Behind the statue are some relevant symbols such as the gong, used for communication, spider, representing wisdom and patience, and the twin snakes, which stand for victory. We can also see a royal seat from the Northwest region, standing on a royal carpet made of panther skin, which depicts the power the fawn upholds. The seat is guarded by two elephant horns, one on each side. Still within this room, we have a dignitary seat of the Saar people called the Ebonga. This seat found in the museum is said to be a copy of the original version, being kept in a museum in Germany. We also have a seat made by the Bamums out of bronze, which is over 200 years old. a siege that was specifically designed to be used by late Queen Elizabeth during her visit to Cameroon, but unfortunately, due to the eruption of Mount Cameroon on the eve of her visit, this seat could not serve its purpose, as she ended her journey in Nigeria and never visited Cameroon again. This happened in 1959. We also have weapons such as firearms and spears used during the slave trade period, tribal wars and colonial revolts. The spears were made by our forefathers to help them defend themselves the African way. They were decorated with cowries and human hair to make them appear mystical and frightening. Many other objects present in this section of the museum further tells us how and why the modern and traditional powers are complementary, and as well makes us understand that the traditions and beliefs back then are still relative to natives today. Moving further with our discovery of the Cameroon National Museum, it is impossible to talk about Cameroon's history without definitely mentioning individuals to remember, be it in the political, musical, football, religious, and other domains. Prominent figures such as Irene Bia, Roger Miller, Ahmadou Ahidjo, André Marie Mbida, and others, who have their photos displayed on the walls of the museum, each standing to tell a story. The museum has a room filled with our own musical instruments originating from all parts of the national territory. In this room, you will find traditional and modern music instruments such as the tolum, castagnet, guitar, sanza, gongs, flutes, saxophone, drums, and many more. The room also has an image of the legendary saxophonist Manu Dibango passionately playing the saxophone. We equally have a section of the museum depicting a clear picture of how the kitchen of a typical Cameroonian woman looks like. That is, the setup, spices, a grinding stone which they use to smash their special ingredients for their cuisine. The museum as well displays old forms of calabashes used as bowls then. Pots made of clay and jars were used to store water or palm wine. Today, these jars are still used to save palm wine in certain areas, especially in the grass fields. Traditional attires from different tribes and events are exposed in the museum. Some of the attires are Dendop, worn by the Bamileke people, Togo regalia for the Northwesterners, the Sanja representing the Douala people, Kabangondo, and more. In another section of the museum, you will find structures of houses which were built to show to tourists how houses are built in different regions and people of the various tribes in the country. The museum as well houses a gift from ancient Egypt. This object constitutes a tiny part of the objects in the museum. It symbolizes friendship and tells the story of the three great pharaohs of Egypt. The museum equally has a room that depicts unity in Cameroon through a number of 10 calabashes, each representing a region and are all linked to each other. The calabashes contain cotton. Though cotton does well just in the north of Cameroon, there is a distribution to all others. This tells us that one and indivisible, we always support one another. The calabashes are surrounded by seats from various regions too. Still in the National Museum, there is a room that tells the story of the various transitions of the Cameroonian flag from the days of the colonial masters till date. The Cameroonian flag has changed 6 times before getting to the one we currently have. This room has detailed information with the different flag and years of adoption and transition on a photograph. A section that contains contemporary arts, paintings and sculptures recently exposed in the museum and even abroad. With a 4-star online rating, the Yaounde National Museum ranks amongst the top touristic attractions in Cameroon. For those who wish to visit the museum, it is open from Tuesdays to Sundays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The entry fee for adult Cameroonian citizens costs 2,000 francs, 1,000 francs for students, and 500 francs for children. For foreigners, entry fee stands at 5,000 francs. A tour guide is readily available to take every visitor around this attractive museum. They are very welcoming and can express themselves in both national languages, English and French, with their services included in the entry fee. The environment is surrounded by restaurants, an amusement park, video game sheds, and other places around you may want to visit. Reviews from those who have visited the museum before say the National Museum of Cameroon is a must-see place when visiting Cameroon. A place rich in history and presents an amazing display of history and cultural diversity of Cameroon. Other reviews have it that if you want to visit all of Africa in one place, the National Museum is the place to visit. We hope you enjoyed watching this content. If yes, give us a thumbs up and share with friends. Drop a word in the comment section telling us what you think about the museum and your experience if you have ever been there. Do not as well forget to share with us your topics of interest you would like us to cover, and we will make that happen. Before you leave, please subscribe and turn on the notification if you are new here so you do not miss any of our upcoming videos. See you soon for another content on Discovery Cameroon series. Bye bye.